win this game, Team 19, of course, can have their 3 bans. So the substitution, actually, there's a bunch of substitutes for Team 7 because their roster was just unable to show up. Anomaly is the captain, however, of Team 7, and he will be playing, I believe, mid lane. Rio Kira was the most recent substitute, and then the other substitutes include Saint Vicious, or Saint Viscous, is that? And Zaptina, and Nana Nathan. So it's basically the captain playing with a bunch of subs. But regardless, we're going to be casting the game. We're going to be looking to have fun, and we hope you enjoy it as well.
Yes, this is true.
So, unfortunately, not much to discuss, seeing as half the bans are gone. Darius ban, Darius is obviously a powerhouse. We just saw him last game. Team 6 utilizing that Darius pressure to great avail, easily taking the game over. The captain doing great work on that champion, so it's a no-brainer. Ban it out. It's a tough juggernaut to play against. Rengar, that's most likely a targeted ban towards the enemy jungler, who I believe, I have to always double-check now because they're all substitutes. The enemy jungler for this game should be Zaptina, so he probably is a jungler, a Rengar main. And of course, Team 19 also had a last-minute substitution. But due to the circumstances of that substitution, they only lost 1 ban. But what do you think of this Morgana first pick? That's interesting.
I'm actually liking the Lee Sin pick. It's a very strong jungler, especially with the buffs that he received, where it is, if you kick someone with Dragon's range, that target that you kicked deals % of their HP as bonus damage to the other targets they collide with.
That was a very nice change. Too bad Rush was unfortunately not allowed to live up with that buff before being disqualified from the World Tournament. But I mean, if we had seen him playing on Lee Sin with that buff and the Warrior change buff to the jungle item, he would have been so happy. Do you think this is definitely a flex pick from Italy, right? Do you think it'll be top lane? It could be mid lane?
It's been a long time since I've seen some mid lane in Italy. I think it's very weak. They do choose to pick it in the mid lane, but that seems to be what they're going for. And along with the Amumu lock-in, I personally don't like Amumu as a pick just because of how weak he is early game, and he's very susceptible to getting counter jungle. You see the Lee Sin pick. So playing Amumu after you see the Lee Sin pick, I don't personally like it, but we'll see how this team runs with it.
It's a very fair point. He must have some type of trick up his sleeve, or he must be pretty confident to lock that in. But we do get the Caitlyn on the blue side, and on the purple side, we will be seeing it's Ozzy locking the Vayne, Gideon G with the Blom, and the instant lock-in from the Saint Viscous on the G on the blue side. Personally, I'm not a fan picking Vayne into Caitlyn. I think, in fact, Caitlyn is one of the worst matchups for Vayne, just because the amount of poke damage Caitlyn can deal is oppressive. Having a Braum definitely alleviates that issue for sure, but it can still be quite a pain.
Okay, so this is that Master Yi pick. I'm very, very interested at what Team 7 is trying to do here with these picks.
Hopefully this is the non-trolling situation. It could very well be... I'm trying to understand this.
So we have the top lane Master Yi, from what I can tell.
Most likely, and I suppose it would be Morgana support. We're gonna have to definitely check this out and see how this plays out. Most likely, due to the circumstances, the players maybe not feeling like 100% trying to win, instead just picking a fun composition to play. That could very well be the situation. I suppose we'll have to wait until we get into the game to find out, though.
Yeah, that is very true, but this comp is just
all over the place.
Basically.
It is going to be the mid Italy, though, that's for sure. I would love to see the Fiora walk in just because I love watching that champion play. And a good Fiora is always entertaining to watch.
It's weird because I feel like if you're gonna pick the Nidalee mid, you've been better off just picking other strong poke-based mid laners that have better laning phases in comparison to Nidalee and like the mid lane meta. Like if you want AP poke, you could have went for Azir, Victor.
So we do see the swap in, so we'll be need Morgana support and Ziggs in the mid lane. So apart from this Master Yi top lane, the game looks rather, I mean, blue side's composition looks like a pretty strong team fighting composition, a lot of AP magic damage, that's for sure. Will we be seeing Master Yi, though, switch summoners? That's the question we're all interested in. For pure benefit of the doubt, maybe you could argue the cleanse against the Braum, right? And
yeah, definitely. Cleanse against the Gnar, Mega Gnar CC. Can see it.
Oh my god, he kept it. Okay. Oh wait, the last minute switch. What a troll. Oh my lord. Well, we are gonna see this. I am not well versed in the Master Yi Gnar lane. I would assume Gnar is just like against Darius, except Master Yi doesn't have any CC. I think Gnar would be fine. He'd be able to bully Master Yi out of that lane.
I can also assume if you're at least, and you'll probably camp that lane too.
Absolutely. Master Yi, outside of his meditate is very squishy. You get any type of CC onto him and he'll just drop immediately. So I'm gonna keep an eye out on how Royal Baron decides to play his Lee Sin jungle route. If he decides to either invade and try to, oppress this low early game impacting a Mumu pick, or if he's going to decide, just let the money farm. It takes him forever to power up anyway, and instead just camp the top lane and just get this Gnar fed.
I'll tell you what, that the compositions are just so weird in terms of what you're trying to do with them, because you have this Ziggs and this Caitlyn that want to siege. They want to you want to get your outer towers, you want to siege, and then you want to look to rotate around after you got that lead from getting the outer towers. But then you have Master Yi, where I guess if you want him as your split push top laner, okay, but at the same time it'll be hard for him to split push against Gnar. And then you have the weak Amumu pick, where it's just like, if you want him as your team fight initiate, okay, but there would have been much better picks for you to have selected for your jungle role, but we'll see how the Amumu pick works.
I do think there is sufficient protection for this lane. That being said, you do have the Braum shield to cover. You do have Lee Sin shield, although it's not the biggest damage mitigation source. It does help. You have the Nidalee heals, the attack speed steroid, and of course you have one heck of a front line between Gnar, Braum, and if Lee Sin decides to go tanky. So I think, just in the circumstances, Vayne will be well protected and will be allowed to deal damage. It's just a matter of whether or not this Amumu can land, really clutch ultimates that would lock this Vayne down, so that the Master Yi and the Ziggs ultimate can take her out of the fight.
Oh yes, by all means. But I remember the last time I seen Amumu picked in professional play. It was very funny because Hai picked it during Cloud9's Gauntlet. It was very humorous how he played that champion in the Gauntlet.
What was that, 3 games in a row he played, and they lost all 3? Or two games, I believe.
2 of those games, yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think I might have played it in another best of 5, but it was pretty funny.
It would be interesting to see. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be getting into the learning schemes here in a second. Who is going to win? Who is going to have bragging rights? That's what's on the table. And for this first game for each of these teams. As we get into our learning schemes here again, ladies and gentlemen, this is Interlull Season 1, Week 1. Game 2, and we have on the blue side Team 7. Once again, this team, due to unexplained circumstances, is very substitute heavy. So we we do have the captain, Anomaly. He is one of the main roster players. He's the mid lane, the Ziggs. In the jungle, we have Zappadina. He's a substitute. The rest of the players are actually all substitutes. Zappadina in the jungle. Same Viscus in the top lane. Nathan, ADC, and Real Kira support. Whereas on the other side of the rift, Team 19 named Challenjour, we have in the top lane Cyclic. In the jungle is the substitute Royal Baron. In the mid lane is the team captain of Blame support. In the bot lane, AD carry, it's Ozzy, and support Gidyanji. That's gonna be a tongue twister mid game. I can tell you that much. Let me ask you this though, Sean.
Sure.
In games like this where you're playing as a substitute, and let's assume for the greater good that you're playing to win, right? Mm-hmm. Do you feel that being a substitute it allows you to maybe play more aggressively, make these riskier plays because you feel less pressured, or you feel less reliable?
If I was playing as a sub for a team, I would feel kind of pressured to do well, just because since you're covering for one of their players, you want to look like, oh, even though that player was gone, I didn't mess up too bad.
Oh, okay.
But that's just me. I have very high expectations of myself when I play. So to each their own on that regard.
Another thing I wanted to mention was this mid lane Nidalee. When was the last time? What patch was the last time we saw a mid lane Nidalee?
Like season 4.
I've been seeing actually in solo queue. I've been seeing a few top lane AD Nidalees. They don't really work very well, but for some reason I've been encountering a few, maybe like 3 in the past 15 games I've played. I thought that was quite interesting.
Oh, I actually seen some of those myself. It's actually pretty funny to watch it fight. Just because it's always, Nidalee as a champion in terms of laning, it's always reliant on whether or not you can land the spear to get the empower damage. Because if you don't land the spear, then you're basically going to lose the trade.
Definitely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are on to the Rift, and teams are buying their items and going out. We see some master emotes. Oh, a little CLG rep from the Royal Baron. I'm liking that one. Definitely some interesting lane matchups I'm going to want to keep my eye on. I'm going to be keeping an eye on this Gnar Master Yi.
CLG.
Hey, CLG. But yeah, this Gnar Master Yi lane and this Nidalee Ziggs lane are going to be interesting. And Ziggs and Ziggs and Master Yi going on a scouting mission behind enemy lines. This is an interesting setup, how both teams decided to separate into 3 and 2 pairs.
So we have them going in for the early wars just to see if then any invades are going to be happening or not. And you have a lot of pings happening with the red side. So this looks like this is going to be a blue steal, which is very, very smart to do because Amumu very reliant on that blue buff for his jungle clear. And if they can get the blue steal and deny him their own blue, it'll be really good to set back Amumu's early game. And I don't think the team actually notices this, so they might get away with this. Because if Amumu knew his blue was getting stolen, he would be able to go for the blue steal of his own. Or if they're able to deny that blue steal, then that means that it wastes time for his jungling because he has to go, because he's moving from golems, clearing his red side, and then he's wasting time walking the blue instead of doing something productive, like maybe take Scuttle Crab. So we have the double jungling being done too, which is very, very a smart plan. You get the double jungles, make sure Gnar doesn't get denied XP, gets the early pots when he teleports back, and you also get the blue buff denied. This is really a smart strategy.
I do like it in the sense that it will make Royal Barons, number one, yeah, it definitely does hurt the Amumu for sure, and it does make Royal Barons route through the jungle a lot easier because you come out healthier from the beginning camp. That being said, though, do you really want to leave this Master Yi alone to just soak up experience and farm? I feel like Gnar in the 1v1 matchup at level 1 would have such an immense advantage.
Oh, there's very good aggression on the mid lane. Nearly was able to win that trade just barely. Gnar was able to come back to lane with some wards and a health and a ward and some pots. And Yi wins that little trade right there, and some more trading happening between the mid lane. So as I mentioned from before, we have Amumu doesn't know that his blue buff got stolen, so he's like wasting that time to walk over there and then realize, hey, my blue buff just got stolen. Oh, that was a really good play by the Nidalee with the flash to get the empowered pounce damage and getting the Q execute. Really good play by the Nidalee.
Early Nidalee game damage is just absolutely insane.
You know, that's why I said from before in terms of playing against a Nidalee, where if you're playing a mid laner that is a lane bully, like for example, if you want to play like Victor or Azir into Nidalee, then she won't be able to do that much to just because you can both shove her into lane and then go for the aggressive plays. But we have the gank happening right here, and she gets a little bit of damage onto the Moore, but it's not enough. Oh, but a lot of damage being done onto the Caitlyn, and she goes for the pounce Q. That's the Q.
This Nidalee is just going off. A blame support, showing what a mid-Nidalee pick can do. But Cyclic, under pressure, eating those auto attacks from St. Vincent, he's going to walk away. He'll be all right. You
know, it was very interesting that I was also a roam at level 4, too. So you would think that, roaming at level 4, it would deny his own self some experience. But the flash auto, but the flash on the auto, I think I'm in an auto cancel by the Master Yi, actually.
I believe so, yes. I think St. Viscous did cancel his auto there. That's really unfortunate mechanical misplay. That would have been a nice first blow. But even then, I'm still surprised that this Master Yi is able to push around this Gnar like this. Again, I think it's due credit to the double jungling. This put Gnar behind experience in the lane and allowed Master Yi to push up the minions and gave him this lane advantage. Meanwhile, now we have to keep our eyes out on blame support. This Nidalee is going to be beyond crazy. Nice cheeky trap into binding damage. Not gonna be enough though to take out Gideon, that's for sure.
But yeah, it's gonna be crazy when it comes to the mid lane matchup because as you can see, Ziggs when he based instead of getting himself some maybe boost or pops or wars, he got himself 2 mana beads, which doesn't really provide much stats against the Nidalee who now has increased mana regen and can sustain in lane through the mana regen.
Absolutely. I think at this point he's just hoping to farm whatever he can from behind this turret and not eat any spears.
Mumu looking for a gank, but he doesn't realize he's walking on a ward. So he's still trying to look for the gank. But yeah, in terms of the mid lane matchup with Ziggs and Nidalee, if I was Ziggs, I would just focus primarily on just getting the shove and just focusing on CSing the lane because if you're standing behind your minions, the Nidalee can't do much damage to you in terms of the empowered hunted proc damage.
Nice damage going down. Good poke actually onto this bomb. They're going to be pushing them underneath their turret. But here comes Royal Baron on the side. There is no ward, so this is going to be an effective gank.
Oh, the Q lands. He's going if he gets the slow off, but the Dark Binding and the Spell Shield is just enough to keep them alive. But Lee Sin looks like he's killing for more. Can he land another Q? He has a red buff slow onto the Caitlyn. The heal comes out.
I would have loved to have seen Ozzy. As soon as the black shield went down a real cure, I would have loved to have seen Ozzy get really aggressive and potentially even flash condemn Nana Nathan into a wall.
The spear lands, but he gets the knockback and knocks her away from him.
And that definitely would have been a good amount of damage. But Nidalee's, you know, surprisingly enough, the Anomaly is doing a good job just keeping this farm.
Ooh, tumbled into the binding. This is another all-in. Pops the Highlander. Will this be enough damage to get through on the Gnar? Oh, Nidalee finds an Amumu in his jungle. Amumu doesn't have not enough mana for this fight.
Amumu does not have ult either, keep that in mind.
Coming. Can she do this potential 2v1 or will she have to run away? So she gets the Amumu kill. Will he be able to go for more? But he goes down to Master Yi. Oh, sorry about that, folks. I didn't enable summoner names.
Oh, that's right. That would make quite a bit of a difference to the viewers, I'm sure. Royal Baron gonna be another trap. Oh, the flash and heal burned, but Royal Baron coming back for another gank. Morgana is exhaust down.
We were just barely making it out.
Absolutely, and keep an eye on this mid lane anomaly. You know, with the free lane, with the blame support roaming everywhere, he's just gaining a CS advantage, gaining pressure on this tower.
There we go. We can see names in the guys.
They know who we're talking about. What? Good satchel charge, good disengage from that damage. And I want to talk again, you know, ward coverage, deep warding, it's so important in these games. And neither team really warding that much. A blame support, throwing down traps, definitely a good start. Finally, he drops a pink ward into the river, so that's always nice to see. But, you know, apart from that, the blue side, Team 7, not really doing much in terms of vision. And with all this roaming from the Lee Sin and from the Nidalee, I would think that Real Kira would want to get an early sight stone, get those bad vision down to keep her lane alive. Because this game is absolutely winnable late game for the blue side. They have such amazing scaling on a Muumu's Master Yi and a Ziggs. They just need to get there safely.
Yeah, this is very true, but as I mentioned from before, there's also the siege, because in terms of the wave clear on red side, you don't have much because Nidalee can't clear the wave, but the teleport is coming from the Gnar. Hey, he had Mega Gnar too for the teleport as he gets the ult in.
Does not matter.
Will this see the potential dive? Oh, we have 4 people here. This is the dive onto Morgana's board. Gnar tanking a little too much damage. He hops away with the last auto attack on him from the tower. Will the Vayne be able to get the kill? That is the execute on Lee Sin.
Oh, Royal Baron, unfortunately.
Nidalee looking for the 1v1 on the Master Yi, but it just turns out to just be a little trade.
That was so unfortunate. Great miscommunication there from the red side. And Amumu
misses a condemn, but Mumu lands and has enough damage to kill the Vayne.
And Kobe with the 3-pointer, perfect alley-oop from the Amumu, giving him that double.
Right from downtown.
Oh man, that was a great ultimate. Really heads up play there, and this is going to do the dragon for them. As long as they avoid the Nidalee spears, I don't see why they don't get this dragon.
Oh, Maxi pops the Highlander and the flash alpha strikes onto the Nidalee, and the ulti from Caitlyn comes out on the Gnar for extra damage, and Master Yi falls down. The dragon's still going on, and it looks like there's going to be a dragon for blue team.
As long as they get out of here right now without any more deaths.
Caitlyn looking to net out of the pit. But Lisa lands the Q before the net gets her out of the pit, and the hunted damage goes through, but Lisa goes down as he is unable to ward hop over. But Nidalee is looking like she might want more.
These are definitely big misplays from the red side coming in. The failed dive and now the failed dragon fight.
You know, it was very interesting. When he landed the Q, he didn't go for the Dragon's Rage kick backwards, because that's what I was expecting him to do.
Exactly.
Because it was good that he was able to get the Q on her before she netted over the wall. But then the fact that he wasn't able to get the Dragon's Rage onto her to knock her back into the Nidalee was very unfortunate.
He didn't have flash. He used his flash to get that Q before she netted, and then I don't believe he had a ward at the time. So unless Caitlyn missteps mechanically, he probably would not have been able to.
It is true.
Regardless, good place on the blue side. Definitely showing glimmers of life here, and actually ahead in gold now by about 500's worth. A shutdown gold.
Yeah, definitely. In terms of the kills on the team, we have 4 onto the Nidalee. So if the blue side can just concentrate on building magic resistance against the Nidalee, her poke won't be able to do much to them, and they'll just have the better siege and be able to take over the game in terms of wave clear and being able to do that structure damage.
I am going to want to see that locket.
The Glacial Fissure comes out for the knockup on the Caitlyn as the Vayne tumbles forward. She has the concussive blows proccing the stun. Will this be enough damage to condemn? Lands onto the tower, but the Vayne goes down to the tower shots as they overcommit to this dive. That fails a go, and it will be a 2 for nothing. Putting a trade in favor of blue team.
So unfortunate. Red team just misplaying these dives completely.
Oh, that was really good. Got the ulti on him after his Alpha Strike, and that is a kill onto the Master Yi.
That ultimate had to have been framed perfect. He must have used that just as he was entering Meganar or Mininar. And blame support.
Nearly flashes the snare. Will she be able to get out of this? Throws a spear, but it looks like she might look for the Caitlyn kill, but has to realize she has to back off before he falls to death.
Master Yi does not have teleport, so this top lane turret will be going down.
This Nilly really wants more as the Vayne comes in. Will the Vayne be able to finish off the Caitlyn? We have the Night Hunter passive putting in some work, but the binding just keeps her away.
There was no final hour for It's Ozzy, so he wasn't able to give chase. Zappadena is and he does have ult, but he's too to use it, so I'm assuming he's going to take care of those Krugs and then back. Even CS in the top lane. St. Viscous definitely going to be trying to build up to that board quickly, build up some crit, and then start, abusing that Master Yi scaling and start split pushing on his own. On the flip side, Cyclic, I imagine it's going to be a Remnants first. No, he decides to build a Phage. That's
interesting.
Yep.
Oh, this looks like the collapse onto the Ziggs. The Winter's Bite misses, but he just might be able to get away. It was like pops the barrier. The Lee Sin lands the Q, waits for the flash, and finishes off the Ziggs.
Well played, winning for the flash. And a bit of a mechanical mishap from Anomaly. He should have known as soon as that the Q landed, there was no point in wasting his flash. He was done.
Yeah.
And definitely a mishap trying to harass Braum off of that ward without any vision.
Oh, he follows up on the Q. Will this be the dive onto the Master Yi as he meditates?
That's the unfortunate thing about the Fed in Italy is that you don't have CC. So at least against this Master Yi, you can't. There's no way you can dive him as long as he has meditate up.
I just hope that blue team itemizes very well because as you can see on the kills discrepancy, we have 4 kills on the Nidalee, we have 2 kills on the Lee Sin. So when you see that, but they're going aggressive onto Mumu, who gets a 2-man ulti for a disengage with the Ziggs bomb coming through for some more damage, but it looks like there won't be no more follow-up for that fight. Oh, he bandages onto the Nidalee, but he gets ulted into the wall. Master Yi pops the Highliner, looking to get the reset off of the Gnar. He pops the Bork active. Will he be able to finish off the Gnar? He is able to finish him off. He is able to run away, but Lee Sin follows up with the Q, and the Dragon's Rage should execute. And now Nidalee looking for some more in this fight as Ziggs trying to kite around the traps for the slow, but it's just not enough, and he goes down too.
He used his ultimate earlier. Something to always keep in mind that I always judge Master Yi's on. You don't. Oh, 1 second, we got a little fight in the bot lane.
The Glacial Fissure going for a knockup. Can he finish the concussive blows proc on the Morgana?
This poor Braum, Gideon just eating way too many traps. But here comes the rotation from the red side. Royal Baron and a Blame Support coming in.
The bottom lane does not see it. It looks like it's going to be a potential 4-man dive.
We've seen some pretty bad dives before, though. I don't know if they really want to go for this.
This is true. They also don't have the minion wave for the dive as well.
I would highly recommend that they just back up, gain vision control, keep their vision for dragon, and just do the dragon on spawn. They still have time to back. If they back right now, if they wait any more, then they're just going to have to fight dragon low health. Amumu does not have ult for about another minute, a little bit less than that, so that is good for them. Meganar will also be up in about 25 seconds.
So now I just want to get this off my chest because I hate seeing this. So the Amumu is going for the Righteous Glory second just to get that hard engage for his team, and I really don't like that just because you have a 5-1 Nidalee. Instead of going for the Righteous Glory second, you want to go for the lock-in. You want to get that lock and give your team that AoE MR along. But the Nidalee going for the damage onto the Ziggs Has to run away though with the Mumu follow-up, and Braum has no mana, but he flashes over walls. He flashes over wall right after him, uses the fork slow.
He still has the
This is gonna be the end of Braum.
There's the Alpha Strike. And that's what I was talking about.
Pops the final hour, tumbles forward, condense him into the destroyed tower.
Hello, Goku.
Yi lands the Q, but he just doesn't do anything much after. But Morgana looking for the collapse onto the Yi, misses the binding, but has the soul shackles down, but she falls to the nearly burst as the 3-man ulti comes from Amumu, and he again the follow from his team. Master Yi Alpha Strike in, trying to look to finish off Master Yi as a result, but Yi condemned into the wall, and Nar going in for the teleport, and Yi as Lee Sin lands the Q as they look to kill Caitlyn as well, who flashes a boulder, but it gets killed as well at the same time.
A chaotic game, fights all across the map, and I was going to criticize the red team for overstaying their welcome. They had just fought bot lane, they had just gotten a double kill. They were low, they were Braum was Nidalee was but they still managed to make the best of a somewhat scary situation. And something I also need to get off my chest is I always criticize Master Yi players for doing this. When you use an activate Highlander and you're running towards a target that's relatively immobile in the sense that, for example, Braum is not very quick except for his W, or excuse me, for his leap, his E. You don't activate Alpha Strike immediately just to close that gap distance. You're going to catch up to him no matter what. Just walk up to him and start autoing. You don't need to waste Alpha Strike. You use your Alpha Strike when they use their flash, when they use that gap closer, or when they use that CC to stop you. That's when you Alpha Strike. That's what separates the good Masters from the bad ones. And so far, Sam Viscus has honestly missed several kill opportunities just because he's decided to use his Alpha Strike when he didn't need to.
So when it comes to that fight, he made the decision to stop chasing after the low health Nidalee because Nidalee would just continuously pounce away and decided to rejoin the fight. But him rejoining the fight was a mistake on his part because it then got him condemned into the wall, and he eventually just got focus fired by everything else. So it probably would have been better for him in that situation to continue after a Nidalee kill, get the reset off of killing her with the Highlander, and then try to rejoin the fight right afterwards.
No home guards, but he's going to activate that Highlander. He's going in.
He forced the Nidalee, but can he get the Alpha Strike in?
Oh, wait, is this an auto attack over the wall? What a legend.
He gets the Alpha Strike, will be able to finish it, but the Dragon's Rage into the Q finishes him off as the team is looking to peel the Mumu off of Nidalee, but the bandage lands, and can he kill her with the AoE bandage damage? He doesn't, and he looks to take the tower's response, but he's taking too much tower damage, and he kills her as well. Will Nidalee live? Oh, but he goes down to the bomb.
What a scumbag anomaly. Instead trying to auto Nidalee, doesn't auto the tower. He could have saved Zappadina's life there. What an unfortunate misplay.
The Nara looks for the split push on top, and this looks like this will be a tower for the red team.
Cyclic definitely having a ball up here, just farming on his own. I don't think he'll be able to finish his tower off. Anomaly's there with the split push.
The Ziggs is looking to get the slow on him just so that Master Yi can go for the cleanup, but Nara doesn't know this is coming as he looks to play aggressively. He's trying to see if he can make it a 1-for-1 with Ziggs flashing away, but he flashes after, but can he kill him? And the tower and the Master Yi damage is just too much for the Nara, and he goes down.
That is so unfortunate. Lots of unfortunate mechanical misplays here. Missing the Q, that was deadly.
You know, the Nar was too greedy. He thought that Ziggs would be alone, but he should have realized that, hey, Ziggs is pretty low. There's no way he's going to want to fight me 1v1. There has to be someone that's going to be here for the 2v1 fight. Just has to respect that presence.
What a funny interaction, too. Viscus getting the jump on the Royal Baron will take him down. That's that lack of vision control we keep referring to. Walking in when you don't have control, walking in when you're not sure where the enemy team is.
You know, I'm actually surprised Lee Sin and Dragon's Rage to get him away from him and then try to like live off of that.
The ultimate was up. It must have happened too quickly for him to respond, I suppose. This mid tower sitting at 1 auto away. This blue team just going in. Zapdina says, I don't care, I'm taking this turret.
Oh, it looks like this might be a potential fight as Nidalee goes in, but gets ulted by the Mumu. The Ziggs ult comes in, it doesn't hit anyone. And this looks like this will be the potential siege, but the bomb knocks Nar back in. Are they looking for the dive? Caitlyn is tanking tower, gets less than 50% of her HP there, and Master Yi BMs with the dance as it scales with move speed now.
gotta do the dance whenever you can. This Amumu, this high Mumu play is absolutely absurd, and yet it's working. Just face tanking the turret, baiting the enemy team into going in, lands a 3-man ultimate. Says, I'm taking it.
Oh, the Q lands. Will he follow up? And he dodges all the skill shots to safety.
What a man, Royal Baron. Deciding, I'm taking every Q. I'm no wimp. I'm not gonna wimp out. I'm taking the fight.
You know, they usually say your mind's telling you no, but in this case, his body was telling him yes.
It's the rule of Lee Sin, man. You gotta take the Q. You land it, you gotta go. That's it.
You gotta press the Q, establish your dominance over the enemy.
Imagine if you could emote, like master emote, CLG emote, as you're flying, mid-flight.
You know, just be like, I'm ex-Smithy, boys.
Exactly. You see junglers finally able to take some of their own camps, establishing some vision control. I like this. This is good preemptive play by the red team. Get the Scuttle Crab, get some vision down around Dragon, be prepared for the incoming Dragon fight in 50 seconds. Royal Baron trying to safeguard land the Q.
Oh, the Highliner goes as he looks for the 1v1 fight with the Borg slow, but he can't do nothing much just because the tower is still there.
Again, see what I'm talking about. St. Viscous deciding to Q instead of just walking up to Cyclic. Just walk up to him. If he ease away, if he jumps away, that's when you Q. You catch up to him. Mechanical misplay. And to be honest, I don't think Cyclic would have died anyway because he had
the Q lands onto the Caitlyn. Will they follow up for it? The concussive blow winter bite lands on her, but they don't look to do anything for her. They just look to prepare for the dragon. But Nilly lands a spear and was thinking that she can get the 1v1 fight, but realizes that Mumu is nearby now. As I mentioned from before, Mumu finishes the Righteous Glory, and now he's going for the Lock of the Iron Solar, which he should have gotten second, but he does have that engage now. So that's good. Azure Dragon is live now. Master Yi has the TP. Actually, he doesn't even need the TP in. He's right here for the fight. Gnar has TP up as well, so he's going to continuously split push now. Red team can choose to dance this dragon and let Nidalee poke as Gnar gets a tier 2 tower.
Keep your eyes on this Mumu. He has the flash ultimate. He will be in range, that's for sure.
But if Mumu lands that banish, that'll be the catalyst for the initiation that blue team needs in order to win this team fight for this dragon. Now they lose the tier 2 tower. Now they either fight this 4v5, even though Gnar's going to TP in. So now Yi gets focus fire and condemned and just dies as Caitlyn gets exhausted, but Mumu lands a good 3-man ulti, but Lee Sin dies in response, and Caitlyn goes down to the Gnar.
That minefield from Anomaly putting in so much work. I don't know if you noticed, but mid-fight, Royal Baron took his Q in onto Nana Nathan, and he died because...
Oh, the bandage lands on Mumu on a vein, and she goes down as well. But will this be the 1v1 fight for Gnar? Can he catch up? He does have the phase proc. He does have the slow from the Q. Will he be able to get more olives? Will he get the hyper proc? He'll be able to catch up. Yes, he goes. He gets it. Will he be able to just fight this? And Mumu decides to fight this even though it's a losing fight. The CC goes out, but he bandages to the golems, but he hops over to the golems as well, but he has to let him go away.
Oh, there we go. That's the good stuff I'm talking about. What a highlight reel play, though. That one minefield for Anomaly killed a Blame support. It killed this Nidalee when he flashed over the wall, and it killed Royal Baron when he queued in onto Nana Nathan to get the dragon to reach execute. He died mid-fight because of the minefield. What a bunch of hero bombs.
So red team will be able to secure the dragon after that long fight. So now, when you think about it in the long run, this is a very good advantage for red team because they're able to get the tier 2 top tower, get some kills in the fight without going even for both sides, so it's okay. And then you get the dragon, so it's ultimately you just went out in that trade. So now when it comes to item builds, now that Amumu has the Lock and Iron Solar, he's looking to get a Frozen Heart for the Vein, which is very needed. But Master Yi, instead of going for the Yomu's Ghost Blade, which you usually see after the Blade of Rukin, is going for the IE second, which is a big boost in damage. But I felt that having a Yomu second would have been better just because you have that higher solo 1v1 potential threat with the Ghost Blade. But he's just going to get focus fired right here as he loses in the 4-for-1 trade. The Spirit misses, but will he be able to run away? The Dark Binding lands. Nidalee gets bandaged. Will this be the ultimate from Amumu? Will this be the curse of Sat only on one target? And will the Braum go down? But Lee Sin lands a Q and he has a Caitlyn all onto him, but he still lives. The fight is trying to go out and red. Oh, but Lee Sin goes down. Another bandage lands onto the Braum. Will he'll potentially go down as well. The Dark Binding on the Nidalee. The flashes as they all decide to go for these kills. And this is a victory for the blue team.
Great heads-on rotations from the blue side. They saw that they were chasing the Master Yi. They saw they were chasing St. Viscous. Decide to group up together, and they take an easy fight. It's Ozzy still splitting bots.
Oh, nice. Another bandage lands. Holy moly! I think I was in between minions. No.
He must. This is the wanted version of Amumu, man. He's curving these bandages, going in and out of minions.
So as I mentioned from before, so Amumu as a pick is, in terms of what he wants to do in terms of team fighting, he wants to look onto a bandage, so he has to walk up to you and get the bandage onto you, and then he lands the ulti on how many ever targets he's able to get. But he was also weak early game, which you know is because he didn't really do much ganking. It was just him farming up. But when you're not able to take advantage of the fact that he was able to farm up, he just comes to this point where he's able to be a strong team fighting presence.
In this game, imagine how different it would be if those bot lane dives had just been performed cleaner, if Royal Baron didn't get executed, if Morgana hadn't been given that double kill early on in the game. And something I'm actually...
He actually ulted and stole the blue buff.
Oh wow, you're right.
Damn. He's not Kobe anymore, he's Michael Jordan.
Was the blue warded?
I think that might have been a blind steal.
What a god. It's like Jordan at the dunk contest.
I think what it was is that he saw, like, if you look at the main map, he has the ward right there, so he saw them walking there, trying to give the blue butt transfer, and then just blindly stole it. Wow. Yeah. That was really good.
Jordan making 3-pointers with a blindfold over his eyes, boys. What a heads-on play. I'm actually taking a look at items. I'm actually a little curious. What is Gideon G building exactly? Because it does look like Face of the Mountain, but he opted for that early Spectre's Cowl as well, which is really delaying his support item.
The Dark Binding lands on Lee Sin. This looks like a primary initiation, but he wards hops to safety onto the Nidalee. But as I mentioned from before, when it comes to this team fights between the two teams, you have blue side with poke and siege potential and strong team fighting with the AoE ultimates, and you have red side that has decent poke from the Nidalee, but they have unreliable initiation because it's all coming down to where now you can have the Gnar with Mega Form, but the Dark Binding lands and just a little bit of poke damage comes through.
But the binding, that's unfortunate.
As Master Yi Highlander's in, but doesn't realize that it's a mistake as he gets focused down so hard. They look to get the tier 2 tower, and Lisa follows up on the Q, but the ulti lands onto 2 targets as Morgana is trying to ult, and Vayne gets hit by Dark Binding, was able to deal damage onto Morgana, and this was a victory for the red team.
So unfortunate. Zappadina, you have the right to score, you have the flash. Get in front of your team and land your ultimate. Set up your Master Yi. There's a very obvious evidential miscommunication between this Master Yi and this Amumu play. Master Yi 3 fights in a row, I believe, just rushing into his death, getting CC'd hard by this Braum, hard by this Gnar, and that is a dead zig.
If you look at that fight again, it wasn't even a well-calculated fight for Master Yi as well, because you see him Highlander in and going in, trying to 1v5 under their inhibitor tower, no doubt. He just gets destroyed so hard. In terms of in that play before, when they were doing that, instead of Master Yi going in 1v5, they should just went for the tier 2 tower, because they were able to get red team off of the tower. So you get the tier 2 tower. Once you get it, maybe get some damage off onto the inhibitor tower, and then when you all spawn back, you rotate away, get some visions on Baron, and then you look to either set up doing Baron yourself or going to this dragon that's about to spawn. But because red team was able to get the Baron, they're going to be stronger for this dragon fight, will potentially win it. But even though they have the Baron buff, it's not a guarantee just because of how strong team fighting potential that the blue side does have with the Amumu ult and the Morgana Soul Shackles. Now, Morgana has the finished Hourglass now. I don't think it was finished before, but with that item, it's just stronger team fighting all throughout for the next fight.
Absolutely. Let's keep an eye out on the gold differential of this Baron power play. They started up with 2,000 gold lead. At the beginning of the Baron, we're going to keep track of how much gold they gain at the end of it. Just starting the siege on this mid lane, though. Nidalee landing some good spears, landing some good damage, but... Ooh, that chunk. That's the danger of this Fed Nidalee. 10, 5, and 9. Let's see how much CS, or how much AP. 584 ability power. Those spears are going to be hitting you like a truck.
Most definitely they will, especially with the voice sap on the Nidalee now that it has that extra magic penetration stat, because you have the Amumu who has the locket which gives the AoE team fight, but Amumu doesn't know that actually they did know there and it was warded, so why did he decide to walk like that? Because he didn't really do much except just take a little bit of damage.
This Amumu, man, he just does what he wants. He doesn't care. He'll walk up to your turrets, he'll auto them, he'll walk into your team, he'll take damage. He doesn't care.
And they look to start the dragon. Will blue team fight in response, or will they just let the dragon go away? The dragon goes away, but Amumu is getting kited just a little bit by the Gnar, and the Winch's Bite is about to. Oh, he goes in, bandages in, gets a 3-man ulti that gets combined into all this, the AoE damage and the ultis.
Oh, the kid!
Caitlyn and Amumu focus on the Braum as the rest of the red team is going in onto the Ziggs and the Morgana, who goes down. Caitlyn is the only damage dealer left in this fight alongside the Ziggs. Well, she flashes over the wall. Gnar flashes over as well. Can Caitlyn dodge some more skill shots? She's trying to deal the DPS, but the bush is not warded. She uses the Scry Orb, but the bench lands on the Nidalee, but Amumu goes down. And then Vayne gets knocked back away, and Ziggs and Caitlyn are still left alive in the fight, but at what cost, as they lose 3 people and the dragon?
Again, another teamfight miscommunication. You gotta get the timing right for this Master Yi to work. You can't just run in on Nilly-Willy, especially when Gnar has Mega Gnar and Ultimate ready.
Oh, will this be the 3-hit? Yes, it is. The Silverbolt procs.
Young Gosu Itzazi just laying the smackdown, saying 3-shot KO. Gonna take him.
Oh, Lee Sin lands a Q, but knocks him away from him.
Dodges the binding.
And the Master Yi goes in, kills the Vayne. Will he look for more? The Lee Sin is really, really low. He pops the Highlander. Will he go for the Gnar nest? Yes, he does. He flashes forward, Alpha Strikes. Will this be the Quadra, but he goes down. There's too much burst damage from the Nidalee.
Story of this game, kids, is if you're gonna play Master Yi, you don't just Alpha Strike. You gotta get in there first. Use the Alpha Strike to dodge the CC. Otherwise, you're gonna end up a really sad Master Yi.
I think another thing is to also dodge skill shots with the Alpha Strike, because I believe he also got hit by a spear.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, if I was the Master Yi, I would opt to look for getting a Hex Shrinker next, because it does provide the extra attack damage, and that he could also make use of that shield against burst damage.
So going back to the Baron power play, they were 2,000 gold up. Now the red side is up a good 5,000 gold in the lead, and they took bot inhibitor, so definitely a strong power play there and a good advancement to their lead. We're going to see how they can close this game out, though. You can never, especially on a scaling team such as Team 7, you cannot count out their scaling ability and the reliability of the Ziggs to just keep clearing wave after wave after wave and stalling this game out, stalling it out longer and longer until finally they get that one team fight that allows them to bring them back into the game or potentially just end it.
But yeah, when it comes to scaling, if you look at the itemization from both sides, you have the Caitlyn who has IE Shiv. Now, let me see if she has enough money for Last Whisper right now. She does not have enough money for Last Whisper. She has 18,800 on her. So when you don't have any armor penetration so late into this stage of the game, because you have this Gnar that has randoms on it, but the Q lands onto the Caitlyn. He messes up the insect play. And the ulti doesn't hit anyone, but Amumu looking for the 3-man ulti as Gnar TPs into the fray with the damage and the CC lock as the Glacial Fissure comes in, but Braum goes down as well. The boulder goes in. Amumu's bandage lands. Will blue team look to get any more kills from this fight?
Slightly better response from the Master Yi this time around. He does manage to get the kill onto the Vayne, and it makes that much of a difference. However, keep an eye on blue team's base. The super minions are piling in.
This is true. The super minions will do whatever they can, but blue team is looking to get some kills on the red side. I don't think blue team even notices the Baron minions. Let's look at the Baron minions. The super minion is doing slowly. It looks like they might lose the Nexus tower.
The next wave would kill the tower.
Blue team is looking. The bandage does not land, but will they lose the Nexus tower? The minion does die, but it looks like more minions are on the way. Will they look to kill the inhibitor tower? After basically, but Master Yi is up to cover up from them, so it looks like they'll be just fine.
The young Braum landing the Q onto this Amumu.
The winner's bite does land, but he does use the Righteous Glory slow.
Oh, this Vayne face checking.
Dodges the Dark Binding, but the Caitlyn ulti doesn't land on her as Gnar blocks the damage.
Very lucky. If that binding hits at this point in the game, you're a dead man. Gosu or not.
You know, speaking of Gosu, this Vayne is opting to go for the Bloodthirster lifesteal, fourth item. So now, when it comes to Vayne builds, so if you do go for the double lifesteal build, while it does give you the great sustain in the fights, you do have that lower DPS damage just because you're not getting that Infinity Edge. You really do need that Infinity Edge on Vayne, because when you say Vayne 3-shot, she will most certainly 3-shot with the Infinity Edge. But let's see if that will do anything in the next fight in terms of her not having an IE as they opt to do this Baron with no contestation from the blue team because they lost the bottom lane inhib. This is a Baron for red side as a dragon will spawn in 45 seconds.
And again, we're talking about this vision. That's a lack of vision control from Team 7. Real Kira not having... Or not just, you know, and again, that's such a stereotype, is that the support is the only sole player responsible for warding. Just, it's a team effort to keep your wards up, especially through the mid and late game. It doesn't just rely on your one support who has his sights down.
Ooh, the Dark Binding gets caught by the Banshee's Veil.
Looking at stats across the board, everyone's pretty behind in terms of the farm game. Vayne, though, leading this at 253, 9, 5, and 4, doing it pretty well this game. Challenjour Team 19 still about 5,000 gold up.
The Dark Binding lands onto the Gnar, but he goes for target selection onto Nilly, but he gets CC locked in. Will he go down before he can finish off Nilly? Yes, he does. As a simultaneous fight happens in the middle lane where they finish off Ziggs. Mumu doesn't get the Curse of Sad Mummy onto them, but it's a 3-1 fight right now. It's just too much damage for Mumu to handle, and he doesn't have any follow-up as Braum split pushes on the mid lane.
Don't know how many times I have to tell you, Master Yi, you don't alpha strike until you get to them. Oh, I'm so sad. Well played by the red team. This should be the game, to be honest.
What's even worse is just the Master Yi itemization, because so when he has that ghost play, he doesn't necessarily have enough arm penetration to either kill Gnar or Lee Sin. So he has to go for either Nidalee or Vayne. But Braum is taking a lot of tower damage, but he'll go down to Nexus Tower. But Caitlyn will also go on. That is the ace for red team. This looks like it's GG with the Baron minions and the AD. This is a win for red team.
Very well played. A blame support. Putting on a show on this 15-6-11 fed Nidalee. GG. Team 19 Challenger will be taking the win here. And in a pretty entertaining fashion. Lots of action, lots of back and forth team fights that, you know, the slight mechanical correction could have easily made the difference.
So now, when it comes to this game, we have the team compositions that decided the majority of this game. So we have that Yi versus Gnar 1v1 in the top lane. So as you saw from the game, the Yi was a little bit stronger than the Gnar earlier in the game, but as the game progressed on, Gnar was able to get his items, was able to scale up, and was able to become someone that could 1v1 Yi if the opportunity needed to arise. But again, like you said from before, the Yi keep going in on his own, trying to 1v5 essentially, or 1v4 in some cases, where he's trying to get the kill in order to get the reset, but he can't get the reset because he's not aware that the CC lock is there from the Gnar, from the Braum concussive blows, from the Vayne condemn. You have to respect the CC that the enemy team has. But the worst part for him is that you can't dodge the Vayne condemn unless you're really good at dodge, because like you have to time that window when it comes to the Alpha Strike invul and the Vayne condemn. You have to time that, and then if you use Alpha Strike and you didn't wait for any CC, you're gonna get CC locked and focused down right after, especially in a comp like this where you have